Alright, it looks like we're finally live. What's going on, guys? It is the Archaic Eagle here at 3:20 in the morning. For whatever reason, I decided I couldn't sleep. Hopefully you guys couldn't sleep. So I'm up playing Pokemon. Now, it's been a while since I've streamed this, and I feel really bad about it. I got caught up with the holidays, and my wife, the amazing woman that she is, got me a copy of Red Dead Redemption 2, so I've been completely sucked into that. I've put more hours into it than I'm comfortable admitting, because it almost makes me seem a little bit obsessed. Just a little bit. So, today's plan, or this morning's plan, or this evening's plan, based on where you're watching this at, is to try and get through the Pokemon Tower. Now, just a recap, here's the team I'm running so far. I got a level 25 Jolteon, a level 31 Charmeleon, a level 23 Pidgeotto, a newly evolved level 22 Gyarados, and a level 25 Mankey, who's about ready to evolve. I've actually in my last stream, I managed to take care of Gary, so that's already taken care of. So my plan is to get through the tower, and then actually make my way to Fuchsia City, try and get everything done in the Safari Zone, and then hopefully take on Koga and get his badge. And just depending on how everything goes, I may also make my way over to Saffron and start the Silphco event. So, I finally picked up the Silph Scope, got that, so I don't have to worry about not being able to do this event. So, we're just going to head upstairs. My plan's to avoid as many of the trainers here as possible. Not that I can't take them on, it's a little bit tedious, to be honest. Like, there's a ton of them. They're not overly powerful. They all use, like, mid-level ghost types. And considering that this is a remake of the Gen 1 games, it's mostly Ghastly and Haunter. Again, nothing too serious. Nothing I couldn't handle on my own here. So, we're just going to try and get through this as quick as possible, and then move on to the fun stuff. So like I said, not too big of a problem there. One Ghastly, nothing too serious. I'm not going to use Mankey, obviously, because fighting types don't really play nice with ghost types. Now I got this escape rope, don't really need it. Hold on, I'm going to change my controls. I don't like the way I have everything laid out here, so switch over to a different control layout. Much better, much better. I can actually do something with this now, other than walk into walls. So, just gonna loop around here, past them. Again, don't want to waste my time with them. I want to get through this part as quickly as possible. It's never my favorite part in the games. Again, it's just kind of tedious. It's part of the main story, but it's also in its own way kind of a side, sort of like a side story that you have to take care of. If you've never played the original games, basically you have to go save Mr. Fuji, who's sort of the town caretaker. He takes care of the cemetery and takes care of the graves. And you have to get him because you have to get an item called the Pokeflute. And you need this to take care of a Snorlax that you will run into on your way outside of Celadon City. So, again, no big problems there. Still not liking this controller layout. I play other games in my downtime, and I believe at some point I've changed my controls, and I don't like the way that they're laid out now. So, still trying to get that fixed again. I didn't realize I'd changed them until I started playing, and I realized that I couldn't move for like a solid minute and a half. I thought I could, but didn't quite work out that way. So, go down here, see what this is, and then hopefully we can get on upstairs. One great ball. I had to take care of an important message because apparently everybody I know can't sleep either at 3 o'clock in the morning. We're just gonna skip that as quick as possible. And I set a New Year's resolution for myself. I don't normally like doing New Year's resolutions, just because it's so easy to set them and talk about how much you're gonna change and how much you're gonna do this and that, and then they get kind of put by the wayside in a week. So I never really get too hyped up on doing New Year's resolutions, but I have one, and it's mainly for my channel, and that is I really want to put more effort into the channel. I really slacked off. I've actually been off from school since December, and I've done a few streams and uploaded a few videos, but I haven't been doing it nearly as much as I wanted to, and that's on me. I can't really make excuses for it. It's my fault. On a side note, I'm going to give this cleanse tag to Jolteon. It'll stop a bunch of these wild encounters, but it's mainly on me. I haven't been uploading near as much. The holidays did play a big part into that, and then I had some issues with my family. My mother-in-law actually ran into some health issues, and that took away a few days in the early part of December. And then the holidays happened, and I've never really had a lot of luck with winter anyway. I've always had to fight kind of a winter depression, basically. I kind of get into these funks in the winter, and it kind of really makes it hard for me to really push myself to do things, even simple things like recording, because it's not that I don't like recording. I love recording, and I love streaming, and I love doing everything with gaming. That's the whole reason I even started this channel to begin with. But I've also just sort of been in a funk, and it's kind of made it hard to really get jump started on this after the holidays. Red Dead also played a big part into that, honestly. As soon as I got it, I installed it, and I just beat it about 3 or 4 days ago. And, since then, I've just sort of, just haven't really been able to get that push. But, I was sitting around. I'm not really particularly sleepy. Even though it's 3 o'clock in the morning, I should have been in the bed hours ago. But I was just like, you know what? I have the time. I still have a little bit close to 2 weeks before I have to go back to school for the spring semester. So, why not get a start on it tonight? I actually got a start on it last night. It would be last night if you're watching this live. It'd be, depending on when you watch it, it could have been a few days to a week prior. I just sat down and started recording. I got a couple of games from Steam. They were actually free. They looked pretty interesting, and I figured I'd record some on them. So I also have a new Happy Wheels video that I'll be getting up pretty soon. I've just got to finish editing that. And then from there, my plan is to actually try and just start recording and getting kind of a good collection of footage and content. And then from there, I can just kind of keep a consistent flow on my uploads. Because that's the big thing, is just trying to maintain some level of consistency. Let's go ahead and use that rare candy. because Mankey is still just kind of a glass cannon, and I need him to hurry up and get with the program here. So I'm going to get rid of Scratch for Seismic Toss. Seismic Toss isn't really good when you're like in your 20s, but when you get to like level 45, level 50, it can actually be really useful because its attack strength is Cube Bone. If I didn't already have my team planned out, I would definitely catch that because I've never really used a Cube Bone. I've used Cube Bone one time that I can ever remember ever since I've been playing Pokemon, and that's going back to like oh gosh, like 1997, 1998 or so, and I used it one time. I used it during a playthrough of Sun and Moon because I wanted to get a Alolan Marowak, but you know, I've never actually used it in any of the like original games up to that point. Now, I am severely under-leveled, but Gyarados has the benefit of having a type advantage. And this isn't a Nuzlocke, so even if Gyarados does get knocked out, I hope he doesn't. But even if he does, I'm not too worried. A funny thing is you actually cannot catch this Marowak. Like, if you throw a Pokeball, it'll just say Marowak knocked the Pokeball away, and you can't catch it. Which I guess makes sense because it's supposed to be a ghost, you know, and you know, you're not really trying to catch this one, but rather you're trying to I guess exercise, you know, get it exercised out so that way you can you know, you can move on, it can move on, and then you can move on and get to Mr. Fuji. So I'm gonna pause real quick. I gotta step away for just a second, but I'll be right back in just a moment. Stay right there, don't go away. Alright, and I am back. So, funny thing about live streaming is, well, you're live. Basically anything that's happening around you, it's just kind of there, and you have to deal with it as you can. So something actually fell in my kitchen, and I had to go see what it was, make sure it wasn't anything breakable or something valuable, and I just wanted to go ahead and get that taken care of. So, we're back, getting ready to take on a rocket grunt. And normally I try and avoid rocket grunts if I'm ever going into like one of their hideouts, but in this one I actually can't avoid them. They're lined up in just such a way that you have to fight them, and then I really don't want to avoid them if I can when I do the Silphco event, so I might actually take care of a few of those, do some grinding just against a few of those before I start that one, if we don't get to it tonight. Now if we do, then I'll just kind of play it by ear. But I do need to get my team leveled up just a little bit, because if not, the next rival match against Gary it's going to be pretty bad. Not gonna lie, it's gonna suck. Because usually for the first half of the game, you're kind of in lockstep with him. Usually if you just do the battles you have to do, you will be usually within a level or two of Gary, or your rival, whatever you call him. You know, Gary, Steve, Doucheface McGee, whatever name you give him. I'm always just like Gary because, well, I'm old enough to remember when the Pokemon anime started airing in the States, and everybody hated Gary. Still hated Gary. Still hate Gary. And so just anytime I play these games, I always name the rival Gary. It's just sort of a thing I've always done. And by the time I get to him in the Silph Company, he's going to be probably a few levels higher than me, regardless of how much grinding I get done. Unless I just grind a ton, then go take on Silph Company, grind against all the rocket grunts there, and then take him on. So really beating him there is just going to come down to... It's just going to come down to playing against type advantage. But the good thing with this is that once I take care of this event, Mr. Fuji will actually you'll just basically teleport back to his house. You don't have to go back downstairs, go through all the trainers, or go through all of the... go through all the wild encounters and have it take forever. Now, I didn't quite pay attention when it first showed how many he had in his team. Hopefully, I think he only has 2 or 3. He's going to use Drowsy. Yeah, he just has 2. So, Gyarados will be able to get this done with Bite. And that's actually one of the things that makes this a little bit easier, because it's pretty easy to get Pokemon early that can learn Bite. So that way you can take care of some of these Psychic types that you run into. Dark type was actually, I think, a really good addition from the second games going forward. Because before that, Psychic types only had one weakness that I can remember. It was 1 or 2. I believe it was... They were weak against Ghost types, and they may have been weak against Bug types. I'm getting old, so just my ability to recall all of the type advantages is getting a little fuzzy. But yeah, having that Dark type, it helped balance everything out, because it gave Ghost an extra weakness so that they're not overpowered, it gave Psychic an extra weakness, so that way they're not running with just one or two weaknesses. And Psychic just on its own is a really, really, really useful type if you know how to use them properly. Again, I've said in several of my streams before, I don't really do anything with competitive. For me, competitive with Pokemon at least just kind of takes some of the fun away from it. I mean, I'll occasionally, battle friends or, just people I know who play the game. But as far as doing anything like hardcore with competitive, I never really get into that. But it does help balance out having Dark type. It does help balance it out because, like I said, Psychic types, if you know how to use them properly, they're great special attackers. They have a wide move pool, and it's just really, if you know how to properly use them and how to build around them, you could run a near full Psychic type team and really be super good against just about anything that you run into in the games. Man, I wish Mankey would hurry up and evolve. I thought he evolved at level 26, but yeah, it didn't quite. He didn't quite evolve when I thought he was, but he should be evolving soon because if not, he's really just kind of dragging the team down. So here's Mr. Fuji. There we go. Follow me back to my home, Pokemon house at the foot of this tower. And then you talk to him and get the Pokemon flute. The Poke Flute. And he says, try using it on Pokemon that are sleeping obstacles. It's pretty well a hint just saying, either one of the two Snorlax that you've ran into who are blocking your paths, that's who you need to use it against. And I'm actually trying to catch one of them because Snorlax is really good to kind of book into team with, because he can kind of fill in if you need some space to, say, heal up your team a little bit. Actually, I think I'll wait until I get back to Celadon to buy anything. Just gonna cut through here. Because, like I said, I'm trying to avoid as much of the battle, like the random trainer battles, as I can. Again, I'm going to have to start taking on some of these random trainers just to get the experience. Otherwise, I'm gonna have a really bad time later. But excuse me. We are crap. Bikers. Now, bikers have really changed a lot, as the series has progressed. When the series first came out, they primarily used fighting types and, poison types. Now they kind of just, it seems like they use a hodgepodge of different types, but it's mainly like dark types and poison types with some fighting. But they're not really anything to write home about. The cue balls, there's a couple of them on the cycling road who are much more of a problem, because usually they use stage 2 fighting types, and occasionally they'll even have a stage 2 of either Grimer or Coughing. So he's going to use a Grimer again. I'm just going to keep using Jolteon, honestly. So Grimer, use it, or Grimer. Yeah, maybe streaming at 3 o'clock in the morning wasn't the brightest idea. Jolteon used Shockwave. Alright, and that takes care of that. There's another one up here who I should be able to avoid, and then I can just get into the underground route and get myself... Actually, I don't even have to do the underground route. Should be able to just go here, give him the T, now this gets me to Saffron, which I believe I can go ahead and go into Silphco, but I kind of want to hold off on that. I actually want to go take care of... Get a few of these hyper potions. I want to go ahead and take care of the Fuchsia gem first, because that's pretty well the direction the game kind of pushes you in anyway, and you'll learn really quickly with the game that if it's pushing you in a certain direction, you know, once you kind of get to this point where there's kind of a junction in what you can do, kind of go ahead and, you know, just follow the direction the game pushes you in, because right now I would just get hosed at Sylph Company, because they start out, I believe, like at a minimum level of like 30, and then it just goes higher from there, and it just wouldn't do me any good. I believe I'm actually on the TM corner. It's only Great Balls. I thought I'd got to the point where I could get Ultra Balls, but I'm just going to spend all my money on those, and hopefully I can catch this Snorlax, and then get my way to Fuchsia City. If I get to Fuchsia, then I can take care of the 2 events there to get the Surf and Strength HMs, and then I can also go ahead and take care of Koga. Just gonna bypass them because I'm gonna have plenty of chances to fight trainers, and I want to come here because I can get the Fly HM, which I can immediately teach to Pidgeotto, but I can't use it as a field move until after I take care of everything in Saffron City. So as a battle move, I'm set. As a field move, you know, to actually be able to fly back and forth, I'm gonna have to wait a little bit on that. Alright, now I want to catch him, so I'm gonna go with Jolteon, because he knows, like, Body Slam, Rest, Snore, and I think something else. Alright, so Shockwave. No matter what, he'll always use Rest. And if I remember right, he has a Chesto Berry, so he gets basically 1 free rest before it starts to, you know, give you any problems. So I'm just gonna use Shockwave again. Hopefully, Yawn, that's his other move. You know, Rest, Yawn, Body Slam, and Snore. It's either Snore or Agility. Again, it's been ages. Now, my plan is, as soon as I catch him, I'm going to go back to Celadon and pick up some TMs for him. Because none of the moves he has right now are really worth anything. I want to teach him a Brick Break. I'd like to try and get a decent, decent coverage move on him. What that would be, I don't quite know yet. Now the fun thing is where he's a random encounter, the AI is can be a little squirrely sometimes. So it could have used Snore again. Like, it could have used Snore for all 3 rounds that it was asleep, and took care of me no problem. But where it's using the AI, it has to follow sort of a formula on which moves it uses in which situations. Now, Snore is an okay move. It's a gimmick move, is basically what it is, because you have to be asleep to use it. Now, now this could take a while. If it starts looking like I'm just not going to be able to catch it, I'm probably just going to focus more on getting it knocked out and then just advancing on, because you have another chance to catch one later. I just really wanted to try and get one now and not have to worry about it later, but if I don't get it in the next little bit, I'm probably just gonna make tracks, just knock it out and move on, and I'll try it again later with the other one on the other side of the map from where I'm heading. Yeah, he's gonna knock me out. Maybe I can get a good hit in with Mankey. I'm gonna try that. Maybe try a few more times to catch it. If that doesn't work, I need to move on, because I can't spend all day on this one encounter. Okay, so that's actually a good benefit. Mankey has the ability Vital Spirit, which makes it impossible to put it to sleep. Like, it's not affected by the moves Yawn or Sleep Powder or Sing. Which is really helpful, but only really in situations where you're going to be fighting somebody where there's the opportunity. Yes! Got it! Where there's the opportunity that you're going to get put to sleep. Nope, don't want to give it a nickname. Alright, so we're gonna go heal up. I may actually have some moves in my TM case that would help out here. I just sort of hopped in. I'd done a quick check of my team to kind of get me, familiar with where I was with that. But then, after that, I haven't really had the time to just stop and check my TM case or anything. So I just kind of need to get re-familiar with what I got there. So TM case, fly, all my HMs I can use as many times as I want. If I was gonna teach it anything, I would teach it Secret Power, just because Secret Power is a good base 70 normal move, and it lets me get rid of one of these moves here. So it knows Headbutt instead of Body Slam. So I'm actually gonna not teach it that, because that's just replacing a move basically with another move that's exactly like it. And plus, Headbutt actually has the benefit of being able to to cause flinching when it hits. And I would much rather have that. That's much more beneficial than the ability, than what Secret Power has to offer. So I'm gonna get Brick Break after I sell some stuff here. I should have a couple of things I can sell. Let's see. Nothing there really. I don't want to sell that. I mean, I can sell the elixir for a nice little chunk of change, but I'm gonna probably sell off some of these TMs I'm not gonna use, like Secret Power. Actually, I'll keep that. Rock Tomb isn't that good. Taunt really isn't that good. I don't have any grass types, so Bullet Seed is kind of useless. So I should have enough to buy that and maybe one other one up here. Now, excuse me, it's been forever, like I keep saying, since I've played this game just at all. I do remember in the original Red, Blue, and Yellow, you can buy drinks for this little girl over here. She'll complain about being thirsty, and if you buy her a drink, now in the other games those were all attacking moves. Now I can't remember. I gotta quit buying fresh water, soda pop, and lemonade, because I think in this one they're all like blocking moves, like moves like barrier. I believe that's the one for safeguard. So I'm pretty sure all those are non-attacking moves. So I'm not gonna give her the other one. I'll just keep the remaining item to help me out. It's it's a good, useful little health item. If you're running kind of short on cash in the game, buying those is pretty good, because they come at like I'd have to check again, but they're basically no cost really, and they can heal usually 60 to 80 points of damage. So you're looking at a pretty useful item that really doesn't cost you that much money at all. So I'm just gonna hop on the elevator, head downstairs, and then we can move on. Alright, so we're gonna just quickly make our way on through here. Oh, I think I got the bike. If not, I'm gonna have a really terrible time. I'm going to have a really terrible time because I have to go all the way back to actually I have to go all the way back to Vermilion City now, because I, like a doofus, didn't pick up the bike voucher from the fan club president. And with that, I could actually get a free bicycle, which you actually have to do cycling road. Otherwise, you have to go all the way back around to Lavender Town and then take the longer route, which there's not as many trainers. It's just a longer route, it feels, as a whole, to actually try and navigate through. So talk to the fan club president. He'll give you his little speech about his favorite Pokemon, and then he'll apologize for wasting your time and give you a bike voucher. Now, the the bike, it's funny, you can purchase, I say that lightly, a bike in the sense that the game has the option to let you try and purchase it, but it's valued at 1 million Pokédollars, and the thing is that you can only hold, the game only counts up to 999,999, so even though you're presented with the option to buy it, you can't actually buy it. You have to have the bike voucher. It's a little annoying, but nothing, nothing too bad. And then we just cut through here and go to the bike shop, turn in the voucher, get the bike, and we're looking at about a 2 or 3 minute detour I had to take. Now we're just gonna leave Cerulean City. I've dealt with Misty already. that was its own adventure. That took forever. It's actually set me behind on my original plan, which was basically to do an episode per gym, and then have an episode specifically for Victory Road and then the Champion, the Elite Four and then the Champion. But I basically had to take multiple episodes to deal with Misty, and then Rock Tunnel happened, and I had some technical problems, so I'm actually a few episodes behind. So depending on how this goes, I may try and get myself caught back up, and then go from there. So team looks pretty good right now. I need to level Pidgeotto up a little bit, so I'm going to lead with her. You can actually bypass most of those battles. Now the ones going down this way, I might take on them because they're not too many. And it's just a good way to get some experience. Alright, I need to teach Pidgeotto Fly as soon as possible. I'm actually going to switch out for Snorlax because Snorlax is a tank, and he's just really good to have on the team if you're trying to level up. If you're like me and didn't properly, level your team, Snorlax is good because he hits hard, he can take a hit, and he's just really good for, leveling up. He's really good because he's just will not be disappointed at all. Because it can basically learn that it's just super balanced and can do a lot of things that you would need. It's basically the perfect... Basically, Snorlax is the perfect utility player. So let's not do that. Let's actually let Charmeleon do this one. And I have to say, one of my favorite anime moments, like when I was watching the original anime, because I basically watched it religiously through pretty much the entire first 2 seasons, so all of the Indigo arc, which is basically what I'm playing now, and then excuse me, the Orange Island arc, which has never actually got its own game, which I'm kind of disappointed in, because I feel like it would make a perfect addition to the series. Maybe not as its own entire game, but maybe, I don't know, maybe as some kind of expansion. Because basically, if you're a major game producer now, DLCs and extensions excuse me, are sort of the way to go. DLC packages, just game expansions. Luckily, I have some antidotes on hand, and if you ever get this game and it's your first time ever playing it, pro tip, well, I wouldn't call myself a pro, tip from a guy, If you hold down the B button on your console, or whatever button you've assigned for B, if you say are perhaps maybe emulating the game, it'll actually keep you from rolling downhill. If not, you'll roll straight downhill. And it's good, especially if you have to stop and, you know, give your team the little TLC, like I'm having to right now. Should have some hyper potions here. I'm not too worried about Koga, honestly. His gym, poison types are annoying. I mean, in any generation, poison types are annoying because, well, for what it does, and especially in this generation, because poison affects you outside of battle. And starting with, I think it was Generation 6, and then moving forward, poison does not do out of battle damage. So, you know, you still have to worry about taking damage while you're in battle, but as long as you're, you know, when you're outside of battle, you don't have to worry about taking damage. So, that helps out. But, who I want to use here? Let's go with Gyarados. Why not? He needs a little love too, and when I get the Surf TM, or the Surf HM rather, definitely gonna teach that to him, because he's my primary surfer. He's my only water type. I only have 2 on the entire team that could actually learn Surf, that being Gyarados and Snorlax. Disable. Not a fan. Can't say I'm a fan. But, you know, having a surfer is always important, at least up till Generation 7. And not only that, but Surf is a much more effective move than Water Pulse. Water Pulse has the benefit of potentially causing confusion, but Surf is just overall a much better move, and where Gyarados would be a water type, it gets a type bonus in damage. Excuse me. And that's always a very helpful thing. If you're playing the games, I can give you this advice: don't try and stack a bunch of moves on something where the types don't match up, or you're just really kind of doing yourself a disservice. Now I say that Snorlax can learn pretty well anything that you want to teach it, but it's only going to get a type bonus from normal type moves like Headbutt, Body Slam, Secret Power, Hidden Power, moves like that. But the reason you'd want to do that with Snorlax is, again, he's utility. If you just somehow have a typing that you don't really have a coverage for, you can teach Snorlax a move, and Snorlax can take enough of a punch to, you know, to make up for that. But, you know, dropping moves that don't match up with types, like if you have one and it knows 3 moves that aren't of the type that it is, and then one that is, you've kind of shot yourself in the foot, honestly. Now, I'm just waiting for a good move with Charmeleon to replace Metal Claw with, because obviously Charmeleon's not a steel type, so he doesn't get any benefit really from knowing Metal Claw. It's just a move that was left over from when I had to take care of Brock in the very first episode. And while the games don't really have a difficulty per se, you can't really just select a stock difficulty and the game adjust. There are certain starters you can choose that do make the game a little bit harder. I mean, in this generation, it's Charmander. Charmander is possibly possibly the worst starter you could pick. It's my favorite starter, just because I love that entire line, always have. But Charmander really makes the game hard, because you don't catch really anything that could take care of Brock easy, really until the route after Pewter City. So with that, you have to at least get your Charmander to know Metal Claw, so that way you can have some kind of move there to work. And also having, well, Mankey, I kind of got that wrong. You can catch Mankey, who can learn, you know, Karate Chop and Low Kick, which helps, but, you know, in the event that you don't catch one of those, then your Charmeleon's going to have to know Metal Claw. You're going to have a terrible time. Alright, Fearow. Never really been a fan of Fearow. I never really liked its design. It's not that it's bad in any way. I mean, as far as flying types goes, it's pretty good for the generations that it was prominent in, which would have been the first handful of generations, like say the first 3. There have been other slightly better flying types that you can catch early on that have kind of come into the series since then. But Fearow's good. I've never really been sold on its design. It's kind of ugly, honestly. And I mean, honestly, this really isn't much of a prize, but it just has that really like cool demon dragon, like Chinese dragon inspired aesthetic that looks really nice. Fearow just looks ugly, and I've never really had a reason to use it. I've always preferred the Pidgey line, to be honest. And in fact, usually if I'm playing a game where you can catch Pidgey at the start, Pidgey is what I'll go with. If I'm playing like Fire Red, or not Fire Red, but like Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, I'll usually always go with Tailo, and usually I've done a few runs through Sun and Moon, and I always go with I always try and catch a oh my goodness, I done forgot its name. Love the games, and I've done forgot its name. Look at me go. I keep wanting to say Tailo, and that's not right at all. Picky Peck, that's it. I'll always get it because Trumbeak and Toucannon look awesome. Toucannon is an absolute beast. It's probably, outside of Pidgeot, Toucannon's probably my just all-time favorite flying type. I love the whole tropical island, the toucan thing, and like it just looks menacing for a toucan. I've never met a company, you know, until Game Freak, that could take something, you know, as harmless as a toucan and make it look just absolutely intimidating. Alright, we'll go with Pidgeotto. And I'm gonna be done with grinding after this, so I'm not gonna do the third trainer unless I just get into a pinch when I try and take on Koga, and if I'm just getting absolutely hosed, then I'll come out and do a little bit of grinding. But I don't think I'm gonna have a problem with that. I've played the games enough that I can do the little puzzle. I'm getting so excited for his puzzle, I just knocked over my mic. I can do the puzzle in his gym pretty easy. You can actually kind of see where the invisible walls are, and I can take care of the Safari Zone well enough. So we will just go ahead and get through with that real quick, and then I might call it a night after that, because doing the taking care of everything with you know, Saffron City, the gym, and taking care of the Silph Company event, that's a pretty beefy chunk of time on its own. That's a pretty hefty chunk of time to invest on its own. I'm not actually going to catch anything in the Safari Zone. Like I said, I have my team mapped out more or less from the beginning, and I have it where I want it now. So my goal is to get the Warden's Teeth, which I didn't go talk to him, but the Warden, the main game Warden over the Safari Zone, is missing his golden teeth. And if you get those for him, he'll give you the HM for strength. And then... Okay, now I did say I wasn't going to catch anything here, but at the same time... Please don't run away, please don't run away, please don't run away. Okay, good. Now, I said I wasn't going to catch anything here. It's not entirely true, because at the very beginning of the series, I said if I could ever get the chance to get a Nidorino and evolve it into Nidoking, I would. Because Nidorino is just a beast, and honestly, I'm not going to lose anything, because Nidorino and Mankey share a common weakness, and that's psychic types. But Nidorino can do much better against flying types. The only other type that Nidorino has problems with is water types, and there's only one other big water type trainer that I'm worried about, and that's Lorelei. But that's why I went through the trouble of getting Jolteon. If I could talk today. And not only that, but there's a few of hers that have an ice secondary type, and the good thing about that is ice types are weak against fighting type moves. That's one reason why I was so intent on I don't think these are the teeth. The max revive. Okay. I took a wrong turn into Albuquerque, it looks like, because I am not in the right area. So, let's see, can I go down anymore? No, I can go left. But this is a completely different zone. So everything I said about me being able to easily take care of the Safari event, just scrap that. I'm completely lost. And I am not ashamed to admit it. I am dead lost. But if I'm right, let's see. Because I can see an item ball on the right side of my screen, or I did right there, that I'm pretty sure is the Warden's Teeth, maybe, possibly, sorta, but not really. I did get the TM for Steel Wing, which is nice. I can teach that to Pidgeotto. Steel Wing's a pretty good move. It's actually one of the first pretty decent TMs that you'll actually get when you... Alright, there's the Warden's Teeth. So, and there we go. Okay, so, saved my bacon. So, I have the gold teeth. I managed to pick up a pretty decent TM, Steel Wing. I really like it. It's, excuse me. It's the TM you get from Steven in Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald that you get for completing the side thing for him. And it's just a really good move. It's a good coverage type move. It's good against rock types, so it kind of circumvents the flying type's weakness to rock types. And it's just a handy utility move to have. And now I can actually get rid of Mankey. The only reason I had Mankey is I was wanting to have something on my team to know fighting type moves, but the cool thing about Nidorino is it can also learn fighting type moves. But it has the benefit of also being able to learn poison type moves and ground type moves and rock type moves, all of which are really good in this game. So, I'm going to go ahead and take care of something I've been wanting to do since the very first episode. If you're ever playing the first generation of games and you can get a Nidoran male, get it to level 16, get the Moonstone out of Mount Moon, and immediately evolve it. Because to have a final evolution stage Pokemon before you even take on your second gym is really good. And it's just an absolute unit. Like it has a really good attack, really good defense stat. It can learn a nice variety of moves. I need to go pick up another Brick Break TM, but see, this one knows Poison Sting, which isn't that good, Horn Attack, which is okay, Helping Hand, which is kind of terrible, and then Dig. I'm actually going to get rid of Poison Sting for Dig, and I need to look up at some point where to go get the Sludge Bomb TM, because I know you can get Sludge Bomb in this game, I just can't quite remember where. And that would be some really useful information to have. But here we go. We're gonna take on Koga, and you might not be able to see it too well just through a stream, but there's an invisible wall, and if you look really closely, you can see like these little white dots that basically make up the four corners of a square. That's a guide to tell you more or less where the invisible wall is, and you have to navigate this wall to get over to Koga, who's just kind of chilling out in the middle of the gym. It's and especially when you were playing on, if you've played on the old like Game Boy Color, it's an absolute nightmare to try. Okay. I may have made a colossal mistake here because that Hypno is level 38. I was completely expecting it to be like level maybe 34, which wouldn't have been too big of a deal. No, it would be a little bit higher than mine, but nothing I couldn't handle. I'm gonna take care of this guy, try another trainer, and if it looks like they're all going to be in that like 35 to 38 range, I'll probably actually back out, go back out, kind of regroup and potentially call it for tonight and get set up to do the Sylph Company event the next time I stream, which hopefully should be a lot earlier than this tomorrow. I'm looking to do that maybe around 9:30, 10 o'clock Eastern time, 9:30, 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern time, because that gives me enough time in the day to do some editing, do some things with some of the content I've recorded earlier, and get that ready to put up. So we're gonna see what this guy's malfunction is. If he has... Okay, he has 4. And I can kind of get an idea Oh, okay, good. So it was just that one, and it was a fluke, and it was way over leveled. So I, Koga's probably going to be running somewhere between maybe 33 to 35 or 36. So a that's not a huge deal. I can take care of that pretty easy. So we should be able to at least get this gym done today, and then when I do another stream, we can take care of the Sylph Company and, you know, take care of Sabrina. And then I would probably just go ahead and do the event on Cinnabar and take care of Blaine as well, because I have a team that's really, really well put together to take out Blaine. Because Nidoking and Gyarados can handle him, and Charizard, being a fire type, can, you know, absorb that fire damage pretty well. He's not going to get hurt too bad by that. So my plan that I'm just sort of at this point making up on the fly is, we'll take care of Koga, who again shouldn't be any real problem. I'm gonna go Snorlax, because Psychic types just tend to be predispositioned to not being able to take a lot of physical damage. I'll take care of Koga, and then before I come on, I'll actually circle back the other way. So I'll leave here, leave Fuchsia City, and then you can take a route to the right, which is it's the long route, the one that I wanted to bypass instead and take Cycling Road for, and I can do some grinding there, you know, pretty quick, and kind of get my team a little bit more balanced out, and then I can take care of the Sylph Company event, because I want to do at least a little bit of grinding there, because the teams I'll be running into there they'll be well enough that I can, you know, kind of get my levels close to where I want them before I take on Gary, and I can take him on, you know, finish the event there, take care of Sabrina, and then it's a quick surf over to Cinnabar. The event inside the Pokemon Mansion takes really no time at all, and then I can take on Blaine, and then that'll put me basically right back where I want to be. I'll be at episode 7 with 7 badges. And then I can devote the entire 8th episode to taking care of the last gym, which there's a lot more. You're in a lot more positions where you have like mandatory gym trainer battles there than you do in really any of the other gyms. This one more or less you have 2, because most of the others they'll cycle through sort of a turn cycle where you can just slip right beside them and get on to the good stuff. And I'm not really too worried about Koga. If nothing else, I can just spam. Okay. I was not expecting that. Maybe that guy at the front of the gym wasn't too much of a fluke, but if nothing else, I can just spam like Nidoking and Snorlax and be done with this pretty quick. And occasionally he'll just, for whatever reason, use self-destruct, which frees me up off one of his team members. He basically takes care of his own team for me. Let's go with Nidoking. because the poison type moves actually aren't going to affect him at all, because he's not only a ground type, which has a resistance to poison type moves, but see, pretty much just took care of himself for me. But it also knocked me out, so I'm gonna go with Snorlax. Luckily, I had the brilliance to buy some revives. If I'm right, he should have this Muck, which I think is his best one, and then he'll also have a Venomoth and a Weezing, which are realistically kind of basically his team is more or less the majority of the poison types that are in the first generations of games, which is the Grimer and Muck line, the Coughing and Wheezing line, the Venonat and Venomoth line, and then the only other line would be the Weedle, Kakuna, Beedrill line, which Beedrill is a bug and poison type. Wish I had a full restore instead of this, but I'm just gonna have to deal with it. Oh, ugh. So I probably should just be squaring up to this point just to get Nidoking back up on his feet, because he's about to knock me out. Alright, and go Jolteon here. Jolteon starts getting too weak. I'll heal up Nidoking and have him ready. But I wanted Jolteon because Jolteon knows Shockwave, which kind of just renders, like he can use Minimize all day and it won't do anything because Shockwave will always hit. Yep, that's what I was afraid of. May have to go do some grinding and come back to this one, because I am just way underleveled. I was expecting him to be like in the, the 34 to 36 range. I wasn't expecting him to be almost in like the 40s. So I really shot myself in the foot on that one. Oh man, and he's gonna he'll use Sludge, which doesn't hurt me at all, and then he'll probably use a full restore or a full heal. Yep. Or a Hyper Potion. Yeah. Yeah, Draze's defense and yeah, I'm not gonna be able to do this one, because even if I went and stocked up on every item that I could, the odds of me beating him at this point are very, very, very slim. They're basically non-existent. Because I can keep using Dig, and I might get lucky and Minimize not be a problem. Which I've been pretty lucky with it so far, but it looks like my luck's basically ran out. Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to beat him this go around. I'm gonna have to go grind. I just really wanted to at least get to Fuchsia City and get the event taken care of. So yeah, the grinding that I was originally gonna do before I started the event in Fuchsia City is now I'm gonna have to deal with it beforehand. before I can even get the episode started to take care of Koga, because I'm just gonna run out all of my power points on Dig before I'll even hit him again, and nobody on my team really can, because the only one I had that had a move that would hit, you know, hit something that has just used minimize a bunch, is already knocked out. And I mean, the only way I could possibly see this working out here would be, let's see, I have a revive, would be to basically sacrifice somebody over here, either my Charmeleon or my Gyarados. We can give it I can give it a shot here. Let's just take a shot at it and see. So, well, yeah, I'll just heal up Jolteon. Actually, I'll switch to Gyarados, because if Gyarados can take at least 1 or 2 sludge attacks, I can get Jolteon healed up, and I can get Nidoking healed up. And if I'm lucky, I can knock it out with Shockwave, and then take care of Weezing with what I have left, and then Venomoth, I can, if that is what he has, if he has Venomoth, I can take care of it pretty handily with Charmeleon. Okay, good. So he didn't poison me, so that basically resets everything. So I have 3 left, and if I'm lucky, that's the only 3 I'll need. But I really doubt that I'm going to be able to. I've just kind of played myself into a corner here just by poor management. Okay, Toxic. He may have ran out of Sludge, honestly, and if he ran out of Sludge, I'm golden, because Toxic will keep doing damage, but if I'm right, the only attacking move he knows was Sludge. See, now he's using Acid Armor and Minimize and Toxic, which tells me that he wasted all of the Sludge on everything else that I've thrown out so far. And if I'm lucky, he only had the... For heaven's sake. I may have another antidote. If I have another antidote, or I have a Pecha Berry, I've got this battle in the bag. Let's see what I have. Because... Yep. Because... See, its evasiveness won't go any higher, so that's perfectly fine. Because Shockwave bypasses moves that raise evasiveness. And see, he'll use Toxic again. But because where he can't attack me, I'm only going to lose like 2 to 4 points per turn. So I can hit him a few times, use an antidote, he'll try and use Minimize or Acid Armor. As I was at 34, okay, yeah, I need to use an antidote, and see, he's going to try and use Minimize again. And then I'll use Shockwave, he'll use Toxic, I'll use Shockwave again, then I'll heal one more time, and okay. So, here's what I'm actually going to do. I'm not going to try and use Shockwave again. I'm going to use an antidote, but it won't go any lower. And then I'm going to use one of my last 2 Hyper Potions. And then he'll use Toxic again, but I'll have a big enough cushion that I can just keep using Shockwave, and I have a couple of super potions. They're not the best, but they'll do something. They'll basically should hopefully coast me to where I need to get to. The only problem is toxic, at least until the last couple of generations, it had a stacking effect with its damage. Every turn it would do a little bit more damage. And then a little bit more, and then a little bit more, and then a little bit more. But see, now I'm not worried because usually in the games they'll only give the leaders like one or two healing items, and then once they use them, then they're done. Okay, he's gonna use coughing, which I'm not worried about. But just in case, since Jolteon's most likely gonna faint anyway, I am going to at least soften him up. With any luck, he may just use... Oh. Well, with any luck, he may use self-destruct. If he uses self-destruct, it's all over but the crying, which he didn't, so I'm knocked out. Let's go with Charmeleon. And we're going to use Ember. I figured he was going to use self-destruct. Okay, and that may have just ruined me, because if I at least use Nidoking, if he has Venomoth, then Charmeleon could have took care of it. Nope, it's wheezing. Alright, now it's just going to come down to who can outmuscle who. And I think he may have my number. But if he hits me with tackle again, ooh, I can still use my last hyper potion. And okay, now my fear is that he's gonna get down to right at the end, and then he'll use self-destruct, and then that'll take me out. But it doesn't look like the AI is going to let him for whatever reason. So I'm going to use Horn Attack, and that's it. I win. That took a lot longer than I ever wanted it to, honestly. Okay, now I'm going to get Toxic from him, which I don't really care about using. I'm going to seal it. I'm going to seal it. I'm going to sell it for money. But I am actually going to wrap it up here. It has been an absolute blast. I've been so excited to get back into this. I'm so glad that I have some more edited content coming up in the next day or so. I just need to finish getting that edited and uploaded. If you've enjoyed the stream, you know, go check out the rest of my videos. I'm sure there's something there for everybody. That's why I like to do with the channel, is make it to where there's something there for everybody. I like to play a little of everything. I don't like to just isolate to one series or one type of game. In the next little bit, I actually plan on getting some Dead by Daylight up. I just got that not too long ago. And the next, I'm actually planning on trying to get in on the next stream with my buddy EagleEyeGaming. If you haven't checked out any of his stuff, go check it out. He's a great guy. He runs a great channel over there. His information is actually on my channel under my featured channels list. Go check him out. He has a lot of really good stuff. He's been doing a lot of live streams lately, and when he live streams, So there's a lot of stuff there. But if you like what you're seeing on my channel, go ahead and give those like and subscribe buttons some love. They need it. They always do. And make sure to ring that notification bell. That way you know what's going on with my channel, when I'm streaming, when I'm uploading, when I'm posting new content. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. I can't believe I actually streamed at 3 o'clock in the morning. Usually I'm done asleep by now. I hope you've enjoyed everything. I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Bye-bye for now.